You are watching No Filter with Debbie. These are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel. And you know what's driving me crazy? The ceasefire and Joe Biden's calls for a ceasefire between Israel and the terrorist group Hamas. Now, if you don't know, Hamas, and you should know, Hamas is being funded with U.S. taxpayer dollars. How? Well, two ways, actually. At least two ways. It's actually more, but I'll go into the two most prominent. First of all, Barack Obama flew pallets of cash to Iran during his presidency as a precursor for the failed Iran nuclear deal. They're developing nukes. What did that deal do? It gave them standing with the rest of the world that they did not have. There were boycotts, there were embargoes. Yes, they played around those, and so did a lot of other countries, but they were still suffering a little bit. Now they're not suffering at all. We're trading with them. The only person that made them suffer even a little bit was Donald Trump. And I have to give credit to Bill Clinton because he was one of the few presidents that actually enforced our embargo on Iran. George W. Bush did not, FYI. Bill Clinton was tougher on them than George W. Bush. And then you had Obama, who made nice with them. So he gave them pallets of cash, and a lot of that cash went to fund your tax money, went to fund the bombings that have been ongoing for at least the last 10 days on Israel, with thousands of rockets a day being shelled on Israel for no reason. We told you, well, there is a reason actually. They want to get rid of the Jews, and they want to get rid of anything that resembles a Western democracy in the Middle East. They want chaos, they want anarchy, and then they want to be brutal dictators over all the animals that they have created and spawned. That's what they want. And they want no Jews to live there at all, even though Jews have lived there for thousands of years. So your tax money has paid for those rockets. Now, they used as a pretext, as we told you, the evictions from just four homes of some Palestinians that lived there rent-free in homes they did not own, homes they stole from the Jews when Jordan took over Jerusalem. Palestinians never controlled Jerusalem. And the Jews who did not have to buy it back, they could have just taken it back, they actually bought the land back. These Palestinians lived rent-free for 28 years. That's a pretty good deal. Wouldn't you like to live somewhere rent-free for 28 years? I know I would. That would take a huge chunk out of my bank account and put it back in. They lived rent-free. They were evicted. Can you imagine? You're a landlord, and because you're of a certain ethnicity and your tenants are of a different ethnicity, they can live rent-free for 28 years, and you don't get to enter your property, you don't get to use and enjoy your property, and you do not get rent from your property. After 28 years, 4 homes, the families that lived there were evicted. Finally, where they lived rent-free. Hamas used this as a pretext. The neighborhood was Sheikh Jarrah. Showed you a lot about it. And the fact is, that wasn't the real reason. We know that every few years, Hamas attacks Israel. And what does Israel do? Well, they never flatten Gaza. That is the problem. Because what Hamas does is they send out rockets, they kill a number of Jews, they destroy a bunch of stuff in Israel, then they look like the heroes. And then what happens? Your tax money that has been going to them since Joe Biden became president. Yes, Joe Biden restored the aid that Donald Trump wisely and smartly took away because he knew it was funding terrorism. Like these rockets, Joe Biden restored it. So they used that money, in addition to the money from Iran, to finance these rockets. So yes, you are the financier through Iran and through the U.S. Agency for International Development. You are the financier of this terrorism. Yes, you. You funded this. All right, so there's that. But guess what? You are going to pay through the nose some more. Because now Joe Biden kept pushing Israel to have a ceasefire. And now it appears a ceasefire is going to happen. Guess what? All of those buildings that were blown up, that housed terrorists, that housed the sites for missiles and rockets to be launched, guess who's going to pay to rebuild that? You, you again. Yeah, you got snookered twice, at least twice. It's actually many times. But you got snookered quite a bit. You got snookered with the Iran deal. That was your money. You got snookered with U.S. aid that Joe Biden restored to the Palestinians. That's your money. And now there's going to be more aid. It's your money. And guess who's going to get to give it out and take credit for it? Hamas. That's what's going to happen. How do you like that? I don't like it at all. And I'll bet most of you listening and watching, if you have any common sense, you don't like it either. But nonetheless, this is life under Joe Biden. As I pointed out, Donald Trump had none of this under his presidency. Why? Because they knew he was tough. They knew he had Israel's back. He wasn't going to push them into ceasefires. Because you know what happens with these ceasefires? Hamas rebuilds, and then a year or two later, or 3 or 4, they attack again. Israel has not accomplished a thing. They had to respond, but they should have responded completely disproportionately. They should have flattened Gaza. Unfortunately, the world won't let them. Why does it listen to the world? The world sat by as the Holocaust happened. The world sits by as a lot of things happen. The world stands by and does nothing when the right thing is called for. So why do they care what the world thinks? Well, because they trade with the rest of the world and they need the rest of the world. It's unfortunate. It used to not be the way. They used to be able to do what they needed to do. And that's when they should have told the Palestinians, go to your original countries. Because remember, most of these Palestinians are nomads. The Palestinian culture is not a distinct culture because most Palestinians came from nomadic peoples. Their ancestors are from Syria, from Yemen, from Saudi Arabia, from Lebanon, from the real Palestine, Jordan, where more than 95% of the population is actually Palestinian. And the gay King Abdullah, yes, he's gay. Gay King Abdullah married a Palestinian, Princess Rania. Now she's Queen Rania, in order to appease the Palestinians. Why? He saw that his father, King Hussein, would have been murdered. They tried to murder him many times because they want their country, which is there. It's Jordan, Transjordan. And King Hussein put them down. He murdered 10,000 Palestinians in Black September in the early 70s. Did the world cry out? No, because they don't care when it's Arabs killing other Arabs. When it's Jews defending themselves, oh, we can't have that disproportionate response. Oh my gosh, that's got to stop. That's got to stop. So in the context of all of this, Joe Biden is forcing this truce, which is going to achieve nothing right now. And there will still be rockets. There have been rockets launched into Israel regularly from Hamas after each so-called truce. They're fake truces. They're faux truces. But in the context of all that, earlier this week, Joe Biden came to Detroit. And I want to show you, before we go to the break, the video from his visit because he is an apologist to the radical Rashida Tlaib. Watch this.
And Rashid Tlaib, where's Rashid? I tell you what, Rashid, I want to say to you that I admire your intellect, I admire your passion, and I admire your concern for so many other people. And it's from my heart, I pray that your grandmom and family are well. I promise you I'm going to do everything to see that they are on the West Bank. You're a fighter, and God, thank you for being a fighter.
All right, first of all, this demented, Alzheimer's-stricken president that we have doesn't even know her name. He keeps calling her Rashid. You heard that. He called her Rashid. Her name actually is Rashida. Rashid is a man's name. I don't care what they call her. I call her something I can't say on this show. But Joe Biden is clueless. This is the most prominent Palestinian member of Congress. Radical, completely crazy, wants to destroy America from within. She's a fifth columnist. Yes, she's a fifth column. She is a member of the fifth column in America that wants to destroy this country. So he should know what her name is. And then he's telling her how he admires what a fighter she is. You admire the person that's fighting to destroy this country from within? That's admirable? No. And also, he tells her that he's going to make sure that Nothing happens to her family, as if Israel is hunting them down to kill them? Huh? If Israel wanted to kill her family, they'd be dead. They would have been dead years ago. I was one of the first people onto this woman because, well, I'll tell you after the break. I want to tell you more about Rashida Tlaib, Joe Biden's comments, and what is going on in Israel. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms.
This drug remains approved by the FDA.
If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie. So we were talking before the break about the ceasefire that Joe Biden seems to have pushed Israel into after Hamas, unprovoked, decided, as it always does, to shower Israel with deadly rockets that have murdered 10 Israelis, including 2 5-year-old boys. We showed you one of those boys, Ido Avigal, last week from a little boy in Sderot. He was in his family's safe room, their bomb shelter, which these things are not immune to the shrapnel. Even though Iron Dome shoots down most of these missiles, the shrapnel lands somewhere. Sometimes it lands on people. That's what happens when Islamic terrorists go to war against you for no reason. If they were such great people, such great leaders, they wouldn't be doing this. They would be in Gaza looking for ways to make life in Gaza better for their people. Instead, they're taking our tax money and engaging in terrorism against a neighbor. Would we tamp things down and say, Canada's showering us with rockets, Mexico's showering us with rockets, Because remember, Syria sent rockets too. So our neighbors are all showering us with rockets. They're both bent on our destruction. They don't want peace with us. We've done nothing. And you know what? I think we'll just have a ceasefire and let it happen every few years or actually every day. But if it's only 1 or 2 missiles, the rest of the world won't hear about it. Nobody will care. No, we would not do that. We would pulverize Canada. You know what? Their bouncer slash ballet dancer, Trudeau, would be dead. He would be tried for being a war criminal. He would be begging us for mercy. Mexico, same thing. Arriba. All right? That's what would be happening. We wouldn't be, oh, I guess we need a ceasefire because, it's disproportionate. We can't help it. We developed technology and not that many of our citizens died. Only 10, only 2 young boys. So, it's not that big of a deal. We need to stop. No. That would never be our attitude. And it never should be. Never. All right, so in that context, we showed you Joe Biden's comment. He came to Detroit to tour Ford Motor Company to tout these absurd electric cars that are going to destroy America. They're going to destroy our oil industry, our gas industry. They're going to be a disaster. You want to pay that $2,000 fee to get your electric car towed? Good luck. I don't. All right, my car didn't cost that much more than $2,000. Not investing in this baloney. This is snake oil. But he was here to promote this Green New Deal snake oil failed energy policy. And in the context of that, a few Palestinians, I would say a few hundred, I saw the film, I saw the footage. At the most, it was 1,000, and that's being very generous. But of course, the mainstream media wants to make it look like they're powerful, so they said thousands of Palestinians. No. There weren't thousands. They also say that there's more Palestinians in the Detroit area than anywhere. Not true. There are more in Paterson, New Jersey. There are actually very few Palestinians in Dearbornistan, Michigan. Most of those people are Lebanese and Yemeni. So this is all a fraud. Most of those people at that march, were not from so-called Palestine, which doesn't exist. Again, the areas that they claim are Palestinian were controlled by Jordan and Egypt. So Joe Biden came here for that. And then he talked about Rashid, which is a guy's name, when he was talking about Rashida Tlaib. Rashid. And then he said, I'm going to make sure your family's safe, as if Israel is hunting down her family. And as I said before the break, if Israel was hunting down Rashida Tlaib's family, they'd be dead already. And I told you, I was on to her years ago because she worked for an organization that is funded by your tax money. Access, the Arab Community Center for Economic and Social Services. It gets millions of your tax dollars. And what does it do? It brings in Muslim illegal aliens from other countries, from all over the world, and helps them evade the system and ultimately get citizenship, which they're going to get through this Joe Biden path to citizenship. So good luck with that, America. So Rashida Tlaib, that was her job. She worked for Access, and she was in charge of helping Muslim illegal aliens come into the country, game the system, and stay here, courtesy of your tax dollars. And beyond that, she became a state representative and then a state senator. And all my friends from ICE told me she would come to schools and churches and other places where illegal aliens in Detroit were supposed to be rounded up and deported. And instead, she and her husband would drive their cars and block the ICE agents. Now, if you or I did that, we'd be arrested. And we would at least do a year in federal prison. Nothing happened to her. She was off limits. This woman gets special treatment because she's a Palestinian radical who wants to destroy this country from within. So that's what Joe Biden was talking about. I admire the way you fight. I admire the way you game the system and hurt our country. I admire that, Rashid. And by the way, her family lives in Ramallah, which is not in Gaza. It's nowhere near Hamas. Now, the Palestinian leader, Mahmoud Abbas, was elected like 15 years ago, 16 years ago almost, 15 years ago almost, and he has never had another election. Now, he's old. He's in his mid-80s. And if they have another election there, as he kept promising that they would, Hamas will win. But right now, her family lives in Ramallah, which is controlled by him. Israel is nowhere near there. They're not bombing that area. All right? They should, because there are terrorist attacks on Israel every day from there. You don't hear about them. So that's that. Now, I want to just show you two pictures of Rashida Tlaib on the tarmac with Joe Biden, because I want to talk to you about that. All right, so there he is. He stood on the tarmac for almost 9 minutes. That woman with the messy blonde hair and the ugly, hideous coat there, by the way, it was 80-degree weather she's wearing that coat. That's the unlovely and untalented faux Dr. Jill Biden, our so-called first lady, our sloppy first lady. She's standing next to him, and they were talking for almost 9 minutes, and at the end of the 9 minutes, they were hugging, they were holding each other's hands, all three of them, like it was like some kind of orgy. Oh, there it is. There's the picture. So, this is the love relationship between them. Everything else is faux, it's fake, it's kabuki dance. They're all friends. Joe Biden is in on her woke struggle to destroy America from within. When we come back, we will show you what happens when we have so much Muslim immigration into this country, because what we're seeing is what has been going on for the last several decades all over Europe. I don't want to be Europe, do you? Well, we'll show you what's going on and what I'm talking about. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie. Thank you.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So I was telling you about Dearbornistan. It's mostly Lebanese. It's a lot of Hezbollah supporters who, by the way, are mostly Shiite Muslims who hate Sunni Muslims. Palestinians are mostly Sunni Muslims, and they hate each other. They only like each other when it's convenient because they can use it against their common enemy, which is you and me. It's not just me, the Jew. It's you, the Christian. They do not like America. It's all of us. They do not like Jews. First, they came for the Friday people. I'm sorry, for the Saturday people. Then they came for the Sunday people. They're the Friday people. So I was wearing this mask around town yesterday, and I was wondering, if I wear this in Dearbornistan, will I live to see the end of the day? But that's my mask. I got a lot of dirty looks for this thing. We have to still wear masks in my native Michigan. I got a lot of dirty looks from people who are from these woke upscale communities where they don't know anything about Israel or the Middle East. They just repeat and parrot what they hear on the mainstream media. And the problem is that they hear those things, they repeat them, they haven't a clue. If they were being bombarded, they would want America to respond. They wouldn't say, oh, let's have a ceasefire. And there's more going on with this because when you have so many Muslim immigrants to this country, what happens is they have children and grandchildren, and they inculcate them with their culture that is not Western. In fact, is anti-Western and antithetical to Western liberal small L democracy small d, and they engage in the same violence and animalistic behavior that they do in the Middle East. The Hamasnik mentality does not go away. You can take these people away from the Arab street, but you can't take the Arab street away from them. So I want to show you what's been going on in Los Angeles. These are Rashida Tlaib's people, or I'm sorry, as Joe Biden would say, Rashid. So first, we've got this tweet. Take a look. All right, so this is from Rick Grinnell, who was Donald Trump's ambassador to Germany. He was also the director of national intelligence. This guy is a star. I wish he would come back to his native Michigan and run for governor or U.S. senator. And so this was a video, and we'll show it to you in a second. But Palestinians in West Hollywood asked, they drove up to a sushi bar and they asked, this is woke West Hollywood, they asked where everyone is gay or woke or whatever, who is Jewish? And two men said they were Jewish, so the Palestinians beat them up. Now the Palestinians and all these Muslims are always saying, well, we're not anti-Semitic, we're just anti-Israel. Well, then why are you looking for Jews? And all these left-wing Jews and all these woke people are idiots because they'll get beaten up by them also. And I think we have a video from this. Take a look.
We're here outside Sushi Fumi in West Hollywood. A group of Palestinians, about 30 of them, jumped out of a car and asked who was Jewish. Two guys said they were, and they proceeded to beat them up. A couple people stepped in, even a Christian Arab jumped out to help. Guy in the gray shirt right here. They're apparently going around the city and asking who's Jewish and beating him up. This is America, guys. Things are not looking good.
So you saw what was going on there. This is like Europe. We are becoming like Europe, where there are so many Muslim immigrants that if you're Jewish, you're not safe. There are cities like Malmo, Sweden, used to have a substantial Jewish population. The Jews all had to leave because the Muslims that moved in were so anti-Semitic, they had to leave to save their lives. I don't want that going on in this country. And you know what happens after they get rid of the Jews? Look at how many Christians are left in the Middle East. They go after them next. Christians are endangered, particularly in the Palestinian areas. There are less than 2% Christians left in both Gaza that's controlled by Hamas and in the Palestinian Authority. And I told you last week that there was a Palestinian Christian bookstore owner. He was kidnapped and murdered by Hamas. This is what happens. So, do you want this in America? I do not. We do not want to be the Middle East. We do not want to be Europe. You know, John McCain and all these woke liberal Republicans told us that we were fighting and losing valuable lives, limbs, and treasure over in the Middle East, in Iraq and Afghanistan, to prevent things that are going on over there from coming here. But at the same time, all of these people, especially the John McCains of the Republican Party, were bringing these people in under their lax immigration laws and their opposition to immigration like what Donald Trump had. And you bring more people like that in. Now, I want you to, there's more to this. And by the way, they beat up people on the streets of New York. We showed you the other day some of that, but there's more. And more of this happened in LA. So first, I want you to take a look at, do we have any, I think we may have some more tweets on this, maybe. Not sure if we do. But we have some tweets. Take a look. All right, so this is in London. So a Jewish mother driving her 4-year-old son was chased and rammed by cars with Palestinian flags. And by the way, the Palestinians had a caravan, a protest, and they announced on the loudspeaker, Jews, bleep the Jews, rape their daughters. Bleep the Jews, rape their daughters. I think, do we have audio from that? Yeah, that's real civilized. Bleep the Jews, rape their daughters. If you think they're not going to say on another day, bleep the Christians, rape their daughters, think again. That's what they do all over the Middle East. Remember what ISIS did to the Yazidis? Remember that. That could happen here. If you don't think so, you've got your head stuck in the sand, because America is changing. And it is changing so fast for the worse. People will stand for that, and they won't do anything about it. So there's that. Now, when we come back from the break, because it's too long before this break, but we have got a news report video, and I want you to watch it because it's more about what's going on in LA, and it is super scary what is happening. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms.
This drug remains approved by the FDA.
If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie. So, I showed you what was going on in Los Angeles, what was going on in London. We showed you the other day last week what was going on in New York, and we'll probably have more of that tomorrow because even though there may be a ceasefire, there is not a ceasefire in the hate of the Muslim Americans that we have brought over, them and their children and their grandchildren. You know what? Immigration has consequences. That's why we so badly needed Donald Trump's immigration policy. You know, I had a husband of one of the hosts on this network say to me, oh, but all of the Muslim immigrants have been vetted. No, they've not been vetted. I know people who do the vetting. You know how much time they're given to vet any applicant? 5 minutes or less. That doesn't count the bathroom breaks they take and the smoking breaks they take, the people who do the vetting. They don't have access to all the databases. They don't know who these people are. They have no way of looking them up. What, are we going to contact Syria and say, hey, Syria, that's our enemy, that isn't talking to us. Can you tell us who Mohammed Abdul Latif is? Can you tell us if that's a real person? Good luck. It's not going to happen. We don't know who these people are. We have no way of properly vetting them. And guess what? Let's say we do vet them. They bring over their radical beliefs. How are you going to vet that? Let's say they don't put that on Facebook. Let's say they do. We're not going to keep them out for that. They never keep people out for these kinds of beliefs. That's the problem. And you think somebody's going to put on their application, well, I was a Hamas fighter and I was the director of finance for Hezbollah. And they're not going to put that on there. They're not idiots. We are. So this husband of one of the hosts on this network, on this channel, said to me, oh, well, so you're going to tell me they're bad? America's bad. No, we aren't. I'm sorry. We are not. Not buying it. That's what I said to him. I just couldn't believe it. And this person said, well, I was a veteran. I was in Vietnam, or I was in this, I was in that. Great. Thank you for your service. But that doesn't give you a license to criticize America for being evil because I want them to vet Muslims. They come into this country and they aren't. That's why we can't have Muslim immigrants coming into this country. If even 2% of them support terrorists, which we know it's far more than that, good luck with that. You want more Pulse nightclubs in America? You want more Boston marathons in America? And I mean the bombings, and I mean the shooting up of the Pulse. You want more San Bernardino Christmas parties being shot up? You want more Fort Hoods being shot up? Bring more of these people in. They all have one common denominator. It's Islam. It's being from the Middle East or being descended from somebody from the Middle East or a Muslim nation who came here. None of these people were vetted. If they were, why are they here? Why did they do these things? Mohammed Atta, was he vetted? No. These people are not vetted. If you think they are, I have some land to sell you in the Sahara Desert. It's idiocy to think that we are doing the right thing and vetting these people. We are not. That's a word. It doesn't mean anything, vetting. What does it mean? Nothing is happening of substance to vet these people. And in that context, I want you to watch this video of more of what happened in LA. Take a look.
Here's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the Middle East may be sparking violence back here at home. At least 2 attacks were caught on camera. And CBS 2's Kara Fincham is live this morning in Beverly Grove with a look at what's happening. Kara, good morning to you.
Good morning, DeMarco. Investigators are now looking for 3 suspects in that attack at the restaurant behind us. We did speak with one woman who was here. She didn't want her name or identity released, but here's what she told us about what happened.
Somebody in one of the cars driving by started throwing glass bottles or glass cups at the tables, and they shattered everywhere. A bunch of the cars stopped, and maybe 30 of the men in the cars got out, started running toward the tables and asking indiscriminately who's Jewish.
This woman, who did not want to be identified, says she was at Sushi Fumi in Beverly Grove last night when some diners and a group of people driving by in a large pro-Palestinian protest exchanged words. She expected it to end there. Instead, she says the men attacked the diners, yelling "dirty Jew" and other anti-Semitic slurs. Another man, who said he's a photographer and was dining with clients, said he's not Jewish but tried to intervene and was punched and pepper sprayed.
I was speaking to one guy with him to relax why they're doing that. Just protest peacefully.
The LAPD says they're investigating this as a hate crime with 5 victims who were either punched or injured by broken glass. We've reached out to the organizers of yesterday's pro-Palestine rally. They told us they would never condone such violence. They want to peacefully call for change.
We've organized many protests. Saturday's protests, we had over 20,000 people that showed up, and not one single incident.
We can talk about it. We have free speech here in the United States, where we can have intellectual discourse with one another, and last night was not that. It was a bunch of thugs looking for a fight, trying to see if they could single out and target Jews for their Judaism.
At the same time, the LAPD is looking at security camera video of another incident. It shows an Orthodox Jewish man being chased by a caravan of people waving Palestinian flags. This took place near La Brea and Rosewood. The man got away and is okay. The video was recorded by an outdoor parking lot camera in the Fairfax district. We spoke with one Jewish man worried about the escalating tensions.
All these microaggressions that people have towards Jewish people or towards Muslim Palestinians, it's just incredibly hurtful.
All right, so you saw that, and disregard that idiot at the end. I don't care that he's Jewish. That guy's engaging in moral equivalence. Let me just get this straight again so people can understand loud and clear. Israel was not the aggressor. Israel was trying to live peacefully with its neighbor. There are also thousands, there are actually millions of Palestinians, about 2 million plus, that live in Israel peacefully. Hamas sent these rockets to Israel. Why? Because they like to. They do this every few years, but there are terrorist attacks by Hamas on Israel every single day, and by other Palestinian terrorist groups. There's Islamic Jihad, and there are many others. I could name so many. And there's the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades, and so on. Every day there are terrorist attacks in Israel, multiples of them. You never hear about them on the news. Israel responded, as we would expect the U.S. government to respond if we had thousands of rockets being showered all over the U.S. every single day for 10 days in a row by Canada and Mexico. We would want the government to respond. We would want the government to flatten those countries. Most of us would. Not Rashida Tlaib. She would want us flattened, and her friends in Dearbornistan to get to take over. But it's very important to see what happened in that report, and I don't know why we included that quote from that idiot at the end. I did not want him because he's some kid you saw who is some hipster, doesn't know anything. He's equating the Jewish with the Palestinian. Did you see anything in that report of Jews attacking Palestinians? No, because it's not happening. We believe in liberal democracy. We believe in live and let live. The Palestinians don't. They are bringing their ethos from all over the Muslim world to this country. So that idiot at the end, again, I don't know why we had his quote. I didn't want that in there. But somehow it made it into our video. And that idiot doesn't know what he's talking about, equating the two groups. In fact, there are no reports of Jews doing this same kind of thing. There are multiple reports from all over the country of these people doing this. They do not respect the First Amendment. They don't want anybody to say anything that they disagree with. And if you do, they will try and silence you like that. We showed you the other day a guy that got beaten up with a chair. Why? Because he said something the Palestinians didn't like at their protest. This is how they respond, and this is going to happen all over America. It is happening all over America. What do you think the Boston Marathon bombing was about? What do you think the Fort Hood and the Pulse nightclub shootings were about? What do you think the mass murder at the San Bernardino Christmas party was about? It's about our liberal democracy, small L, small d. They do not like it. There was a Muslim that I know, a Muslim lawyer, who was on the board of the ACLU of Michigan. And he was marching on the street leading protesters to make it illegal. He wants to make it illegal to insult Mohammed, their prophet, their phony prophet. All right? This is the First Amendment under attack when they attack people like this. When they march and say, oh, I don't want you to be able to say anything against Mohammed. You should face jail time. They do not belong here. They do not respect our freedoms. They want to take it away. How long and how much will you take of this before you say, no, this must stop, this must end? Joe Biden's immigration policy is only going to bring more of this upon us. All right, when we come back, a reality star chimes in, and she's also a moron, and we'll show you who it is and what she said after these messages on No Filter with Debbie.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie. And we are talking about what is going on in Israel and with Hamas. The truth. Not what you're seeing on the mainstream media. That's baloney. That is one-sided. That is told from the Hamas perspective. And in a minute, we will show you somebody from the media, from CNN. And we will show you what they really think and why you just can't trust anything from any of them. Not just CNN, but all of them, including Fox News, by the way. So I want you to take a look, though, first at this reality star idiot. All right, so take a look at this woman, Erica Mena. All right, I'm so disgusted with Israel. These Jewish people, oh, these Jewish people. She's black, by the way. How would she like it if I said, oh, these black people? She's black and Dominican, she's Hispanic and black. How would she like it if I said these black people, these Hispanics, are really killing children and stealing from these innocent people? Really? What did we steal? They stole from us. A real special place in hell for them all. Free Palestine, because she can't spell Palestine either. She's an idiot. Basically, if you're on a show, she's a reality star in from the show Love and Hip Hop. I think she's made appearances on The Real Housewives as well. When you're on a show called Love and Hip Hop, you probably should just shut up on everything except hip hop, all right? You don't know anything about the Middle East. She got a lot of responses. A lot of them were really good. This is the one I especially liked. Do we have the response? Yeah, that's the one, all right? Because she showed her true colors. All right, yeah, that person, Alan Zaruki, that guy, he had it right about her. She showed her true colors. So that's Erica Mena. Now, what you may have heard is that Israel hit this tower, and AP, the Associated Press, and Al Jazeera, which is basically the publicity arm of Hamas, Al Qaeda, ISIS, etc., that they were stationed in this building, and they're all upset that Israel flattened this building. First of all, Israel gave them an hour or two's notice. How much notice do they get from Hamas? None. But of course, Hamas never shuts down any of their operations or their buildings because they're on their side. They're not independent, objective journalists. But the point was that that building was used to launch Hamas attacks. And all week long, you heard from the media, oh, there's no evidence that that was a building used for Hamas. What? There's plenty of evidence, and it's not new. This has been going on for years. That building should have been flattened long ago. So I want you to take a look at this video.
The media is outraged that Israel demolished the Al-Sharuk and Al-Jala towers. I'm going to tell you what they're refusing to cover. Hamas hides terrorist infrastructure behind media offices. Even before the IDF published that these buildings housed Hamas, it was already in the public domain. In 2009, the Al-Sharuk building housed the Al Arabia offices, and one of their journalists was caught on camera admitting that Hamas fired rockets from it.
صاروخ من عنا هذا من هون لك هذا من هون من لا يعني من تحت البناية تقريبا.
Then there's the Al-Jala building that housed the AP Gaza desk. In 2014, Maddie Friedman, an ex-AP journalist, claimed that the AP staff in Gaza City would witness a rocket launch right beside their office, endangering reporters and other civilians nearby, and the AP wouldn't report it. The press don't tell you this because they're forced to conform to Hamas's strict censorship or face deadly consequences. After an Italian journalist witnessed Hamas misfire a rocket that killed children, he had to wait until leaving Gaza before he could report it. Even if they want to report the truth, they can't if they want to remain in Gaza. How this story is reported is disgraceful. Israel's accused of trying to censor the media when they have more foreign journalists per capita than any other nation, and they're free to criticize Israel. Meanwhile, Hamas persecute any journalist critical of the terror group. Israel hides its civilians in shelters and protects them with the Iron Dome. Hamas hides its weapons behind civilians and uses them as human shields. Hamas aims its rockets at civilian buildings like this one, where a 5-year-old boy was murdered, while Israel does everything it can to minimize civilian casualties. Not one civilian was killed in either building, as Israel gave prior warning by phone.
تسأل المسؤول وتقول له احنا يعني 10 دقائق ما حيصير شيء بين الساعة 3 والساعة 3 و10 العمارة مش حترجع تاني خلاص.
And after the call, they then fired a non-lethal warning above the roof. And only then were the buildings demolished after the IDF was confident they were empty. Israel tries to avoid civilian casualties. Hamas tries to ensure them.
So you saw that. They knew for years, everybody knew that that tower was being used not only as a Hamas base, but also as the base, not just for their operations, but for their launching of missiles. You saw that. It wasn't just once before, it was several times before. That's the evidence. The evidence that everyone says, oh, show us the evidence. There is evidence. You think Associated Press or Al Jazeera, which is funded by the pro-Hamas, Hamas financier government of Qatar, do you think they're going to tell the truth about what's going on there? No, they have a history of shilling for Hamas. That's what happens there. That's the evidence. Now, CNN, I mentioned this to you. They had a reporter named Adil Raja. Adil Raja, Muslim reporter for CNN. He left CNN on his own. I want you to take a look at some of his tweets. Take a look at these pictures of what he has said. Hail Hitler. It's actually Heil Hitler, but whatever. All right. The world today needs a Hitler, so he wants the Jews wiped out. Do we have any more? I think we may have. All right. And then he says, my support for Germany is due to what Hitler did with Jews. Is that it? I think we may have one or two more. The only reason I'm supporting Germany in the finals is Hitler was a German and he did good to those Jews. All right. Do we have any more? All right, that's it. So that's a reporter for CNN praising Hitler, praising the wiping out of 6 million Jews, including most of my family on both sides. This is CNN, as the booming voice of Darth Vader says. This is CNN. And it's not just CNN. It's ABC, NBC, CBS, and even Fox News, by the way. Remember, things aren't always as they seem. See you tomorrow.